Growing pressure from competitors, rapidly changing markets and constantly increasing demands with regard to quality, availability and costs are the challenges that you have to meet as plant constructor or operator. And at the same time, you have to try to minimize costs and time. In automation projects, the lion's share of costs and time falls to engineering and commissioning. An efficient and fully integrated engineering suite, combined with powerful homogeneous hardware, helps you to avoid errors in design and implementation. Speedy commissioning and high availability of your plant, linked to a consistently high level of production quality, make you more cost-effective and competitive. Simatic is the universal standard automation system for automation tasks in all sectors that will give you the decisive lead. The Simatic family includes the following self-complementing components: PC systems and PC-based automation, distributed I/O devices, visualization systems and process control systems, industrial PCs and programming devices, networks like Profibus and Industrial Ethernet. Simatic software is the integrated development environment for all Simatic systems. It is the optimum tool for each task in every phase of your project. All tools have one thing in common. They were developed on the principle that the user needs as little specialist know-how as possible to configure and operate the automation systems. An intuitive user interface and the use of standard languages in compliance with IEC 61131-3 reduce training times both for programmers and maintenance personnel. Programs created using Simatic software are almost completely independent of the target system. You can implement them on all sorts of Simatic devices, such as Simatic S7, Simatic C7 complete devices, and PC-based Simatic Win-AC controllers. This enables you to respond flexibly to changing market demands and to benefit from a high degree of investment security. Join us now on a trip through the typical life cycle of a plant and see how you can use Simatic software to get the most out of your engineering process. The 4 phases in the engineering process of a project. Reduced to its essentials, the engineering process involved in installing or extending a plant can be divided into 4 phases. Planning and configuring, implementation and module testing, testing and commissioning, operation and maintenance. In the planning and configuring phase, you define and configure the automation components required and assure coordinated cooperation of the various members of the project team. Help in planning is provided by the electronic catalogue CA01, the ordering documentation and planning tool in one. Simply enter the specifications, for example the number of inputs and outputs of your machine or plant, and the integrated configurator automatically composes the automation components required. That then is your order list. You can import the configuration data into the Simatic software. Your hardware configuration is then produced automatically, and you can immediately assign parameters to the modules. To make optimum use of the time, you can set various members of your team to work on the automation project at the same time. The Simatic software permits distributed processing of sub-projects by different people. Fusion of the sub-projects into one at a later date is then system supported. Another fundamental activity at the beginning of a project is definition of the variables. Simatic software supports you here with a convenient symbol editor. You use this to define the symbols for your entire project. All tools can access this common database, so you save time and avoid possible sources of error and inconsistencies. You can conveniently make a graphical configuration of the network topology of your automation solution. Here, the communication connections between the separate stations are clearly shown. No matter whether you are using Profibus, Industrial Ethernet or Profinet, you enter the required parameters like bus node addresses quite simply via masks. In the implementation phase, you program the automation tasks and make the initial program tests. In each project you have different tasks to solve, from simple logic operations to complex control and data management tasks. The highest degree of efficiency is always demanded when creating automation solutions, be they for individual machines or extensive plants. Simatic software offers you a universal engineering environment with the right tools for all sorts of methods and tasks. Simatic software uses standard languages in compliance with the international standard IEC 61131-3. Logical operations like interlocking, for example, can be very easily realized as a ladder diagram or function block diagram, FBD. These are user-friendly and graphics-based and as such ideal for newcomers to the system. You can achieve high program performance by using the instruction list programming language IL. Calculations and data processing, such as complex calculation of set point values and checking of quality values. These problems, often in the form of algorithms, can be easily formulated in the PC high-level language ST. The structure of this language is very similar to the high-level language Pascal. Function-oriented and structured programming permits you to convert the most complex of algorithms extremely quickly. Sequential tasks like processing routes and machine processes are graphically programmed extremely efficiently as sequence function charts. The process to be controlled is divided into separate steps with clearly defined functions. This permits you to have straightforward programs that can be understood intuitively by other users, such as the commissioning or service personnel. Technological tasks, from simple closed-loop controls to complex motion control systems, are supported by ready-to-use software blocks. Using such libraries, implementation is reduced largely to graphical switching of these blocks and assigning their parameters. And talking about blocks, the Simatic programmer and block concept is quite unique and helps you to complete your project in many ways. Each Simatic CPU supports you in structuring your automation project, so that the real process and all its functional parts can be imaged as modules in the program. The overall task of a system or machine can be broken down into different subtasks. So, in our sample system, we have the subtasks of conveying, labeling, checking, and palleting. Likewise, you can structure the user software for your project and picture them as various separate programs that communicate with each other. Each subprogram handles a machine or system function. Clearly defined subprograms can be tested quickly, faults can be located more easily in them, and they can be reused more conveniently. They even make extending a plant much simpler. Simatic's block concept also enables you to combine different programming languages in one and the same project. For each subtask or each block, you can use exactly the language that is best for solving the problem in each case. Even when creating the software, you can test your programs. This saves time and costs for the subsequent commissioning phase. The earlier you discover any errors in the program, the more sure you can be that it is practically error-free and fully optimized when applied to the plant. All the Simatic software programming languages include powerful test functions. You can control binary inputs and outputs, as well as flags directly in the program editor with a simple mouse click to test sub-programs already during the course of programming. In addition, you can use a tool for offline simulation on the programming device or PC to test the user software as if it were already running on the target hardware. In the testing and commissioning phase, the programs are tested and optimized on the target hardware under real operating conditions. Here too, the Simatic software helps you with practical test functions to get your plant up and running in productive operation faster. First of all, you have to assign all the necessary parameters to the target hardware, for example data transfer rates or voltage values for digital input modules. Earlier, you had to fiddle around with jumpers and switches to set the parameters. Today, the parameters are assigned via menus in the Simatic software by the programmer even during the implementation phase, and then the commissioning engineer just has to load them onto the target hardware. This not only saves time, but also reduces potential sources of error. The next big step after the integration test is the commissioning of the controller together with the machines. Systematic step-by-step commissioning of your plant helps you to make any corrections quickly and selectively. Here too, you once again benefit from the Simatic block concept. By structuring with the program blocks, you can test the functions of a machine or system separately, one after the other. If necessary, you can extend or change the program by loading blocks, even while the machine is operating, in order to add missing functions immediately, for example. These blocks are conveniently tested by special test functions with which you can, for example, monitor the variables being processed and directly influence them if necessary. The system diagnostics integrated in Simatic supports the detection of errors in the PC program, such as division by zero or call of a block that is not loaded, for example. Errors that occur during program processing are entered in the CPU's diagnostics buffer and displayed with indications of possible causes. In physically distributed systems, you can also save a lot of time by commissioning centrally. By using Simatic's routing function, you can commission the entire automation solution from just one point in the network. Routing means that you can load programs into physically separated devices, even across bus boundaries, or diagnose errors in the systems. In the operation phase, we require full productivity and plant availability. This is why we look for simple and efficient ways of operating your plant and of consistently and permanently reducing any standstill times. Simatic software opens up new perspectives here too. With clear visualizations, distinct message hierarchies, and intuitive operation, your machines and systems really start scoring points. From our broad range of Simatic HMI systems, you can flexibly choose the solution to best meet your requirements, from the operator panel to a distributed multi-station system. They all have the universal user-friendly configuration software for visualization in common. The software tools for control and HMI systems access the same database. This common database unites all the variables between the controllers and the HMI systems. This reduces your configuration work to a minimum. The maintenance department should clear faults as quickly and as efficiently as possible. Powerful systems diagnostics is an integral component of the Simatic automation systems. The Simatic system can independently identify defective I/O modules, many intelligent actuators, sensors and even errors in network drive systems. However, more than 80% of all faults are caused not by the automation system, but by incorrect states or processing steps of the system process. For rapid troubleshooting, you need diagnostic functions that detect defective states in the process and display them. The intelligent Simatic diagnostic tools permit much faster and more precise error diagnostics and help locate and clear faults. Error messages for the operator can be displayed comprehensively on the Simatic HMI system. This encourages operating personnel in many cases to clear faults themselves or to guide specialists precisely to the right place in the plant. Process diagnostics in Simatic does not require extensive programming, but can be configured quite conveniently, for example by setting a monitoring time. Not every fault can be cleared by the operator. Sometimes you have to request help from the manufacturer of the machine or system. In the case of widely distributed systems or machines, it is an advantage when the specialist does not have to arrive immediately for servicing. Here, a remote link and teleservicing via the public network, be it an analog, digital or radio network, are a good way of cost-effective monitoring and servicing. With Simatic software, you can load programs, run diagnostics, set values and transfer data via the public telephone network from anywhere in the world. This saves travel time and costs both for commissioning and for running operations. You can also propose less expensive service contracts. Use the powerful diagnostics options of the Simatic software as a sales argument for your machines and systems. The right tool for each task. That's how Simatic software supports you best in each phase of your project. For more productivity in engineering, however, it is not only the performance of each individual tool that counts, but also how they work together. Simatic software is a comprehensive engineering suite in which all the tools work together perfectly. All the tools and project data are integrated by the Simatic Manager, a component of the basis engineering software, Step 7. It is the user interface for configuring and programming the project in all phases. The Simatic Manager provides many crossover functions such as management of all project data, working on split projects, consistency checking between various subprograms and blocks, management of project documentation, storage of all data on the program memory cards of the Simatic controller. With Simatic software, you too can achieve better results faster, more easily and more cost-effectively. Less interfaces through integrated engineering environment for the controller logic, HMI, motion control and process engineering. Shorter design and implementation times through structured, process-oriented programming methods. Less to input and no inconsistencies thanks to the common database. Costs for follow-on products are reduced by reusable blocks. Less work through convenient configuring instead of programming. Increased system availability through powerful system and process diagnostics. Faster from design to operation. Optimize your engineering workflow with Simatic software.